I'm super excited today.
More cowbell. Right on.
Her voice could punch you in the face. I love this one.
Jive turkey.
Who are you calling Jive Turkey?
You.
Hi guys, this is Play It Again. I'm Ginger.
And I'm Mike. And we've been waiting for a long time to get to Poet and Pendulum.
Yes.
And we're going to do that. But Ginger's got some exciting news first.
Yes. So here's the chance for you guys to help us out with something super important for our family. I am currently in the running as a contestant for the Fab Over 40 contest for New Beauty magazine.
Because you're fab and over 40.
Thank you.
And beautiful.
Thank you. I am definitely over 40. I'll leave all the rest to everybody else's interpretation. But anyway, so the prize for this competition is $40,000 in cash, which would be a life-saving change for our family. Certainly well needed. As well as a spacation for me and my lovely husband. And a 2-page spread in New Beauty magazine. But it's also being run as a fundraiser for the Breast Cancer Foundation, which is a cause that is near and dear to our hearts as well.
Of course. Yeah.
So what I need you guys to do to help support us is to click this link over here. All you need is a Facebook profile. That link will take you to my
profile.
to my voting profile, where you can cast a free vote every single day. And if you feel inclined to give extra support, there's an opportunity there to buy extra votes for me, and every dollar that you spend on a vote equals 1 vote for me and $1 for the Breast Cancer Foundation. So definitely goes to a worthwhile cause, even if some of it is to me.
Only if you win.
The good news is, as it stands right now, I am currently in first place in my group. And if I hold on to that, I'll make it into the quarterfinals in the next week and a half.
Go Ginger.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Guys, you have never seen me so excited as I am right now about this competition. So I would be so grateful for any help you guys can give us. If every single person who watches this video casts a vote, then it'll be a shoo-in. And I would be so amazed by the support. So please. If I win, I'd have to come up with something really special.
Yes.
Anyway, now that we got all that out of the way, okay, so we have been promising for months and months and months and months and months that we were going to get to this song.
Yep.
And there's a couple things that have stalled us, right? First of all, it's very, very long.
Yep. And
setting aside the time to do it properly has been a challenge.
Indeed.
Secondly, with my back problems and those terrible stools we used to have, the idea of sitting in it for the length of this song was the thing that I dreaded for some time.
It was pretty daunting. Yeah, for me too.
So now that we have our cozy chairs, we thought, oh, it's about time. But there is one other reason that I've been kind of putting it off. I haven't really mentioned it to Mike, but it's been in the back of my head for some time. And the story and the lore behind this song, suite of songs, really, is well known to me now. I've had a ton of really cool people share a whole bunch of information so that we would know the history behind the song. But there's always this discussion about, well, what do you think, right? Who's at fault?
Who's the good guy? Who's the bad guy?
Is it Tarja? And I never really looked at it that way, to be honest. To me, Nightwish has always seemed very significantly like a family.
Mm-hmm.
They act like a family on stage. They seem to treat each other like family. And what this is really about is sort of a rift in a family. Right?
Yeah, and those are tough.
They are tough, and we've had a lot of personal experience with some very challenging things similar with our family, and it's the kind of thing that hit home hard enough that I just wasn't sure if I could manage the emotional. I don't know if I had the emotional fortitude to go through it while our things were still so poignantly real.
Mm-hmm.
But some of our family strife has smoothed itself over, and it came time where I thought maybe it would be worthwhile to bring it up now, and well, at the very least, as some kind of a cathartic exercise, right?
Fair, yeah.
That's how I feel about it. But anyway, so
I feel like we should be getting to the song.
well, we will, but this is a big thing, right? Like there's a whole theme around this. So there's reams and reams and reams of discussion about this song. So a couple minutes of discussion about it, I don't think is undue, right? But I mean, I've read both of the letters. I thought we both have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, both of the letters, and it's really easy to see this conflict from both sides. One thing that is clear, though, is that there's the family that stuck together as much as they could, and then the one that went off on their own. And my side is really with the family that stuck close together as best they could, right? And there's nothing wrong with when things aren't working out and you feel like you need to cut yourself off and go do your own thing. It's perfectly understandable. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Sometimes it's just the best for everybody to do that.
That's true.
But one thing's for sure, I don't for a second think that they got the bum end of the deal when they replaced her with Flor.
Well, eventually, Flor.
Yes, well, I was just about to say, I know there was a net in between, and she's great too, but she's definitely not my favorite. Flor would definitely be my favorite.
All right, there she goes. She's laid down the marker. She's chosen sides. She's alienated all the Tarja lovers.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, she was the first one we came across. The first Nightwish we did was a Flor song, and it's hard to top your first, right? Like it's the one that sticks in your memory, and I don't know. So there's that. It's not really a value judgment on quality so much as just
that's where we came in.
She drilled into my heart really quick on the very first listen, and it's going to be really hard to replace somebody like that. Loyalty doesn't come cheap, right?
Right.
So anyway, that's where I stand. But I'm eager to hear the song because we've heard so much about it. We've completely avoided getting exposed to any of it in advance, so I don't know.
Well, where I am is it was ancient history before I came along, and I'm not even really interested in figuring out who was right or who was wrong. It was a thing. It happened before my time. You all do you. I'm good.
The thing is, too, you could try to care about who was right and who was wrong, but the truth is, it's not even your business.
No.
Right? That's their business.
I stay out of the family squabbles as much as possible,
it's
especially
true.
when it's someone else's family.
We like to say you do you, right? Like everybody has to sort their own things out as adults on their own, right? And it seems to me as though, at least for Thomas's sake, the way that he sorted through his trauma and agony about this rift was to create something really beautiful.
And that's where my interest comes in.
Right?
Is the music and the emotion.
Yeah. And I couldn't think of a better way, actually, to work through the things that are plaguing you, really, especially for someone like him. So.
Absolutely.
Anyway, now I'm going to shut my big fat mouth, and we'll get to the song.
Let's do it.
Yes. We'll do our best to pause it where appropriate. It's always so epic in scale.
Right?
I love it. Harsh words. I think I'm going to pause. Oh, good timing.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit fast-paced and almost kind of felt a little bit like the initial severing kind of anger.
Well, let's go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
You're talking about 2 home. What do you think about the very brief part 1?
Oh, I missed that. There was a... Oh, you're right.
So it started off very slow.
The intermission between the two. I was just so...
There wasn't really much. It just kind of... Empathic of it was very short and then rolled into...
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, no, I didn't actually... It felt seamless to me. Sort of.
So the first was... I guess allegorical, let's say, about the blade falling down and the writer being dead off to the white lands.
Well, I mean, that sort of verse about the blade falling down, I don't know if it's applicable at all, but it kind of brings to mind to me the sort of Damocles, right? Which is the
threat
it's
hanging
a threat
over you.
hanging, right? And whenever you're in a close relationship with anyone, right? Whatever the arrangement is, when there's tension, when there's bad blood, when there's, resentment anywhere, that it ends up feeling like that.
Yeah, a bad separation hangs over you like the sword of Damocles.
It really is.
That's interesting. Thing to bring in.
Well, I mean, when he says the blade falls, this is the first thing that comes to mind to me, right?
You're an interesting woman.
Oh,
no wonder everybody likes
Thank you. Well, Thomas came up with it first. I just read a couple things, right? I just read a book or two.
Right.
But that's always been a really fascinating story for me anyway, right? So that one always comes to mind when I think about something that's looming as a threat, and it's sometimes a fatal threat, which is, kind of poetically the way it's being approached here.
Yeah.
Right?
I thought that was an interesting way to lay the groundwork of this. This is what's happened, right? That sword has fallen, but it's like it's so short.
Yes.
That piece, right? Just, okay, boom. This happened to the poet.
Yeah.
And now we move on to where he is in the aftermath.
Yeah.
So we get into Home, part 2, and it really feels like he just wants to retreat from everything, right?
Yes.
Shrivel in him to himself.
There's a little anger in there too, right?
Yes, but I mean, there's anger in taking your ball and going home too, right?
It's true.
Right.
It's true, but I don't know if I would put it that way, taking your ball and going home.
No, I feel like a lot more like I'm going home where I'm sheltered and safe, and there's resentment that you drove me to it.
Yes.
Right, I'm just saying there can be anger in that desire to seal yourself in and be home and safe.
Yeah, and be bitter about the things that impose on you from outside, which I get from the lyrics where he's talking about I horror for the cold world, right? It's kind of like that bitterness to the things from outside that infringe upon you. Well, don't you understand? I'm dealing with something here. Yeah, right?
Not only did this happen, but it happened in view of the world, and everybody's got something to say about it.
Well, that's one thing, right? That's a really big deal because we kind of have an advantage now. We're so far removed, so many years after, that the entire aftermath of this entire episode is kind of in the books, right? So you can look back on it with the advantage of time,
hindsight,
and see how it all kind of worked out. And it was like, it looked to me like it became such a huge public thing, and everybody and their brother had something to say about it.
He's bad, she's bad, right?
The thing is, you never know what's going on in the background, and you can read all the letters you want, right? But everybody sees things from their own perspective, and everybody's perspective still matters, the ones that are involved in it. And the rest of us are all just kind of armchair quarterbacks.
Yeah,
right?
and you never know everything that's going on. It's foolish to take a side.
It really is. It really is. So, anyway, let's keep going. We're in the Pacific now. That's a very big ocean. This feels like the funeral.
I could listen to her do that all day.
Me too. Love horns.
I'm afraid, so afraid. Being raped again and again and again. I know I will die alone, but loved. You live long enough to hear the sound of guns. Long enough to find yourself screaming every night. Long enough to see your friends betray you. For years, I've been strapped onto this old
I'm gonna pause it. You can put it back a little bit when we get back.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to address that.
Please do.
It did sound a lot like, what would you call that? When somebody speaks at your funeral, a eulogy, right?
Yeah.
Did it not?
Yeah. Although he's on the altar, not yet dead.
Oh, well, it's true. But the sound,
eulogy in advance.
the sound at the beginning of that part where Laura was singing, right, did have a eulogizing tone to it. I thought, right, like it was very kind of mournful.
Yeah, definitely mournful and regretful. Yeah, I got to be honest. I'm having trouble with the lyrics there, interpreting what's going on, and it was kind of two very different components.
It was, right?
I'm struggling wrapping my head around all of that.
Yeah, well, getting the chronology right is a little tough because it did sound a bit like a eulogy to me, and then you're right about the whispered parts after where it's talking about being on the altar not yet dead.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely you could feel the sense of persecution, right?
Desperation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This kind of need to be left alone to mourn properly the loss, right?
And wanting to go out the way you choose.
Yes. And not in a manner that other people put, like to not take on the robe other people weave for you, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so let's keep going. You want me to back it up a little? Yeah, let's do that. I see the storm brewing. He has the perfect voice for that.
Time to pause, I think. I think that's leading into the next bit, right? Gotta be.
I expect you're probably right. That was fairly dramatic.
Pretty intense.
Very much
I
so.
really enjoyed the 1,000 pages of erased text.
Yeah, that springs
Fantastic.
to mind like a million different pieces of imagery, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I think that could go so many different ways.
Yeah. I mean, but he wrote it all and just wiped it and put a smile on his face.
Yeah.
But it tells you something about where he was, about his artistic and creative life at that moment.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Excellent image.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, there's been lots discussed about that. You know, felt almost like he was done with it all, and you could hear it in that, right?
Yeah.
Like it definitely feels like that he was teetering on the verge. Which way do we go? Do we move on from this, or do we wipe the slate clean?
Just flush it all and forget about it.
Yeah, and become a new person.
And that's quite the shot about the friends performing the Dark Passion play at his altar gleefully.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I mean, I didn't delve exhaustively into the all of the discussion about this, right? Because I wanted to keep some of it fresh, and I didn't want to have my impressions overly influenced by the impressions of others either. So I tried to be careful about it. But it really does sound like, well, let's be honest. There's going to be people who pick sides, and it's not just going to be the fans, right?
Yep.
So there's going to be people in their industry, ones that they've worked with,
their circle, in their community.
Yeah.
Didn't a lot of the members of Nightwish originally, or all of them, come from the same place, same town?
I think so. But
and if that's the case, then you've got a lot of history and a lot of roots in the community that you both share.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's going to be people who decide to pick a side, and that's another thing we're actually really familiar with. Right? I don't necessarily want to keep making it about us, but it's something we really strongly identify with, because both of Mike and I are on new marriages with each other, and when we had some fairly bitter breakups with our exes, there was a significant amount of family and friends who felt the need to pick sides, right?
Yep.
And that was always tragic when it happened, because it never felt necessary to us for them to do that, and it always felt like a bitter betrayal lots of times, right?
Yeah, I'm always the sort that, like I said earlier, you don't know what's going on inside a relationship, and it's foolish to presume you know who's right, who's wrong.
Yeah.
And I've never had a problem with, if I have a falling out with someone, if someone else still likes them and stays friends with them,
that's none of your business.
I've never had a problem with that.
Yeah.
But if you choose them and throw me to the curb, I don't like that very much.
Right? That's we're not gonna. Yeah.
Go figure. So
yeah. So like we can certainly understand the bitterness behind that.
Yeah.
Especially if you feel wronged.
Yep.
Right? Like don't get me wrong, I'm sure both of them had their feelings about it, right? Where they felt they were wronged. But I mean, this song is from Thomas's perspective, and he feels wronged, and then when somebody decides to pick a side, even when it's not really their business to do so, or they don't really know what's going on for real, and decide to pick a side on very shallow terms, it really is a bitter betrayal.
Yep.
So I definitely get it. Well, with Marco screaming into that microphone, it was giving me chills, man. I gotta tell you, I was like, oh, I wouldn't want to have him mad at me, that's for sure. So here we go. Next. Oh, a totally different mood. Also soothing. love it when she reaches up like that.
Well, that part was amazing.
Breathtaking. Wow.
Thank you.
No. Thank you.
What a redemptive ending,
It really was.
right?
Oh yeah.
Lyrically, melodically.
Yeah. So you have the kind of eulogizing bit, right? And then you have the bit where there's kind of a almost a mortal struggle, right? And then you have this, right? It's almost like, no, I've decided to ascend above it. It feels like that to me.
I mean, the message of love and support from the mother, or I mean, probably literally his mother, but at least mother figure, right?
Yeah. Metaphorical mother.
Getting through it to the other side and reaching peace, serenity, and moving forward. A great way to end it.
Yeah. Well, a mother is a form of nurturing, right? I
Of
mean,
course.
the feminine is chaos, right? But the mother is the chaotic form of the female that also brings order and nurturing.
Brings life.
Right?
Yeah.
So you have, like, the metaphorical mother in this case could very likely just be the circle of support that kind of, in the midst of all the chaos, wrapped around him and the band. Let's be honest, right? Because I'm pretty sure that a lot of his feelings were shared by the rest of the band. There's a bit of a feeling of abandonment in a situation like that, right? They had to all be feeling it.
Yeah.
And then to have this embrace of the supportive structure around them, that's probably where all that comes from. It was beautiful, though. What a beautiful expression of such a complex feeling, right? It came out actually really good. And it's the kind of thing, you almost feel healed by it, right? Like the sound of her voice and the words, you almost feel healed by it.
Yeah.
Right? It was great. The journey, actually.
It really was.
Well, that was a lot of talking. Sorry, guys. I had a lot to say, though. I like stories like this. This had a very kind of epic, like a fable-ish feel to it, right? I mean, a lot of their stuff does, but this more so than most, right? Where it seemed to be telling it was almost like an Iliadic kind of story, right? Where it had a pile of, like, a whole epic journey with a whole bunch of lessons in it. So it was good.
Indeed.
Yeah, I'm glad we waited until we were ready, right? Because it felt like it would have been a little bit more emotionally hard to do with a lot more of our own chaos going around. So yeah, thank you to everybody who offered insight and background, and we got probably hundreds of comments giving us information about the story behind this song and whatnot, and it was really valuable because it's clearly an important story to hear.
Yep.
For anybody who cares at all about this band, or who's suffered similar conflict.
And who hasn't?
It's so common.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunate that it is, but it is, right? Like, people are the way they are, and warring priorities sometimes turn into very unfortunate circumstances.
Absolutely.
But fortunate for all of us, because I actually kind of like the way it turned out, to be honest.
Yep.
Because not only did we get a really great singer that we love, but we also got a really great song out of the deal. And I couldn't ask for any more than that from Thomas.
Couldn't ask for anything more than that from artists and musicians, right?
In general, indeed. So that was very well done. Yeah, I'm glad he made it.
Me too.
I know.
Look at all the good material since, right?
It's true, right? Oh my God, if he hadn't, we might have never even found them at all.
That's right.
Oh, I don't even want to know what that looks like. So, hopefully you all enjoyed that too. And at the very least, hopefully it makes you think a little bit twice about some of your own bitter breaks with people who were near and dear to your heart at one day. Redemption and forgiveness is a very healing thing.
For sure.
So if there's anybody that in time and distance you've had second thoughts about the way things ended, reach out.
Sure, why not?
It's never going to hurt. And at the very least, it helps you.
And if not, you need to move on.
That too. For sure.
Don't get mired in it permanently.
No. Moving on is the best way, and if it means you have to metaphorically kill yourself
And be reborn.
God knows I've done that many times. And look it.
She's alright.
I'm alright. So, I know you're going to want to say play it again. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. You can find us on Twitter. We are at PlayItAgainMG. And thanks for coming out, guys.